Hello, my grade 10 students. Today we're going to continue our sessions about the World War One. And at this point, actually, the war started. Last time we were talking about the causes of World War One. We discussed them, and I hope you took notes of the main causes and you wrote down the definitions you need to know, the allies and central powers, and other definitions you need to study. Okay, today we're talking about Americans question neutrality. So the American nation are in trouble right now, whether to go to the war or not, and we're going to discuss today how America is going to shift its direction from neutrality to joining the war, actually. And we're going to discuss today why America finally decided to change its opinion and join the war, finally. So actually here, just after the fighting in Europe began, President Woodrow Wilson declared that the United States would remain neutral. His statement reflected a long-standing American commitment to isolationism. Most Americans agreed that there was no reason to join a struggle 3,000 miles away. The war did not threaten American lives or property, so this did not mean, however, that certain groups and individuals in the United States were indifferent to who would win the war. Public opinion was strong, but it was divided. So the public opinion in America was really strong, but it was divided. So here, divided loyalties. So we all know that Americans come from different backgrounds. So some originally are from Germany, some originally from England, some from France. So they were loyal to different participants of the war. So let's see the text now. Divided loyalties. Socialists criticized the war as a capitalist and imperialist struggle between Germany and England to control markets and colonies in China, Africa, and the Middle East. So these are the socialists of America. So mainly thought this war is capitalist, imperialist war, actually, that they shouldn't participate in. It's an issue between Germany and England, and America should not be involved. Pacifists, the people who are with peace, such lawyer and politician William Jennings Bryan, believed that war was evil and that the United States should set an example of peace to the world. So they thought that America should not join and keep its peaceful approach in politics. So many Americans simply did not want their sons to experience the horrors of warfare. As hit song of 1915, and we have an evidence from a song of the time, that song said, "I didn't raise my boy to be a soldier. I brought him up to be my pride and joy. Who dares to place a musket on his shoulder to shoot some other mother's darling boy?" So this poem actually, or this song, talks about a father. He's saying that he didn't raise his son to be a soldier and holding his weapon and killing other people's boys. So there is no need for American people to join this war and to die in the war. For God knows what's the reason. It's not important for them. Okay, following now. So, millions of naturalized US citizens followed the war closely because they still had ties with the nations from which they had immigrated. So, immigrated, we have many Americans of the United States. To immigrate is to leave one's country or region to settle in another. So we know most Americans are immigrants from countries in Europe. So, for example, many Americans of German descent or German background sympathized with Germany. So, Americans of Irish descent remembered for centuries the British oppression in Ireland. They saw the war as a chance for Ireland to gain its independence. So, pressure from some of these ethnic groups in the United States contributed to American neutrality. Some immigrants created organizations to help the cause of their homelands. Some even advised the government on policies that affected the people of their homelands. So here we see the people in America coming from different descent, or they coming from different backgrounds. Their origins in Europe, some from German origins, some from English origins, and each of them have different loyalties. They're loyal to their origin countries. Okay. On the other hand, many Americans felt close to Britain because of common ancestry and language, as well as similar democratic institutions and legal systems. So, Germany's aggressive sweep through Belgium increased American sympathy for the Allies. The German attacked civilians, destroying villages, cathedrals, libraries, and even hospitals. Some atrocity or savage stories spread by the British propaganda. So, actually, the British exaggerated those stories of the German savage acts in their country, later proved to be false. So actually, this is the job of propaganda, British propaganda. They show Germany as the evil part of the war. However, enough of them proved true, but one American magazine referred to Germany as the bully of Europe. They called Germany as the bully of Europe. So maintaining neutrality proved difficult for American businesses. So this is here like this, if you want to take points. Why neutrality now became so difficult to keep for the Americans? Why was it really hard to stay neutral as the American government? Why it was really hard to stay away from these struggles in Europe? One of the reasons that America's economic ties with the Allies were far stronger than its ties with the Central Powers. Before the war, American trade with Britain and France was more than double its trade with Germany. So, with the start of the war, America's transatlantic trade became even more than double. So its trade with Germany, with the start of the war, America's transatlantic became even more lopsided. So the Allies flooded American manufacturers with orders for all sorts of war supplies. So now America is getting new orders of weapons from the Allies. So they are customers, they're clients. America has a lot of business with Allies. Orders from all sorts of war supplies, these included. So these products Americans give the Allies were the dynamite, a cannon powder they needed for the guns, the submarines, the copper wire and tubing, and armored cars. So the United States shipped millions of dollar war supplies to the Allies, but requests kept coming. So by 1915, American factories were producing so many supplies for the Allies that the United States was experiencing a labor shortage. Actually, the American factories has been working really hard to supply the Allies with all the weapons and the goods they need for the war. Here, so some businesses is seeking to remain neutral tried to continue dealing with Germany, but this trade became increasingly risky. So shipments were often stopped by the British Navy. So if they decided to go ahead having business with Germany, the British Navy would stop that. In addition, President Wilson and others spoke out against German atrocities or savages and warned the threat that German Empire posed to democracy. So from 1914 on, the trade with the Allies quadrupled. It became 4 times more, and while trade with Germany fell to near zero. So also by 1917, the American banks had loaned 2.3 billion to the Allies, but only 27 million to the Central Powers. Many U.S. leaders, including Treasury Secretary William McAdoo, felt that American prosperity depended upon the Allied victory. So they felt that if the Allies won, actually it will be an American win situation. So here there is a question for the last paragraph here, and analyze the motives. Why did the United States begin to favor Britain and France on the expense of Germany? We just discussed that related to the business between the two countries. And